Good afternoon. You're looking at the red version of the Cloud Ultra by Evanix. This is a fantastic semi-automatic gun. As fast as you can pull the trigger on this thing, it's going to fire. It's a 30 caliber. It can come in 177 through 30 caliber. But this particular one, we shipped it out, and for some reason it stopped working in the field. It's still under warranty, so we brought it back here to take a look at it and find out what it is, and make a video that will show exactly how to fix this kind of a problem. So first thing you want to do is, if you take a look at this particular gun, right in here is the gauge. You want to look at it and see if it has pressure in it. You really don't want to dry fire this particular Cloud Ultra under 160 bar. So this is about 200 bar, so we should be fine. What I'm going to do is, first thing you want to do is verify the problem. Safety's off. If I pull the trigger here, nothing happens. It kind of just feels like it's on safety. Safety's on. So we figure there's something wrong with it, and it's probably inside. So I'm going to take it apart. I'll put this on pause for a second, flip it upside down, take it apart, and show you where the linkage is. Okay, now the gun is inverted. The safety is on to make sure you're not going to false fire or anything, because it'll scare the heck out of you. It won't hurt anything, but it does make a little bit of a pop. So first thing you want to do is, you set inside here is a 3mm screw. You want to get inside of there. Takes a little bit to find the head of that screw in here. There we go. Now loosen it up. You feel a little pop. And then just go ahead and loosen this one up until you feel it's no resistance anymore. We should be fine. Second screw is the one back here. This is a 4mm screw. What you want to do is release that one, and then that cover will come off. I'll leave the screws right in there to make it easy to find them later on when I'm ready to reassemble. There you go. Now if you look in here, you can see the linkage runs underneath the trigger. This is part of your linkage going back into here, and this is your firing linkage. Now to verify the problem, right here, this particular screw feeds all the way through, and there's a pivot point here where your firing assembly latches onto. What happened is, this screw came out, was laying in the bottom of the box. As soon as we put it back on and put it together, we found that it still would not fire. So what we wanted to do is go into here and find out. First thing to do is, this is your firing trigger here, your back firing point. And I should be able to make sure the safety's off. Okay, safety is now off. And then if I pull this trigger and it fires, we'll know the problem is an inappropriate adjusted linkage. Okay, so it did fire. We do have a linkage that is disconnected. It's not working quite right. So what happened is, it was tilted a little bit and it would not fire straight down here. So what I'm going to do is put it on pause again. I'm going to disassemble this piece here and take the linkage out so you can see it. Might be a little bit hard to see, but if you look at this linkage out on the very end here, it kind of comes apart. There's a pin that runs through the middle, and that clips through the pivot point in here, and it has to be solid in there. What I'm going to do is reestablish this. I'm going to put it back together. One thing we may want to do that would help this is, right in the groove here, I'm going to put some Loctite blue, just to make sure that during the movement of shaking or anything, it will lock this thread, which you can see here. It locks the thread in place so it doesn't come loose. It's just a good industrial practice to make sure screws that you don't want to come loose will not come loose. So put it on pause again. I'll reassemble this back into the gun. Now you can see how this comes apart. Your top piece comes off. There's just a bar in the middle that comes off. And this piece here unscrews. So you have just the threads exposed. Now what you want to do is take a drop of Permatex. It's a blue color and it's just a drop. What you want to do is put one drop on here. It takes a little bit of time, so you have plenty of time to work with it, but one drop on there. There we go. And now we can thread that in, just kind of roll it so it gets all over the threads. And then stick it back in here. And you'll see it'll just kind of groove out there a little bit as we thread it in. Just thread it all the way down so it's tight. Now we can put the linkage back together by putting this one in. Then this goes on the end, and this little ball fits into the receiver here. And then this gets connected up to here. So I will put it on pause again, and we'll take a look at it when it's done. Now you can see how the linkage is all together in here. This is all set up, and it will fire now when you pull the trigger. So we'll set that up in a second and show you. But one thing I did want to show you, this pin here looks like it has a little bit of a pressure fit. So if you take a pliers and just squeeze it very lightly, there you go. It pops in place so it won't come out. Okay, it looks like the linkage is all in place. Before we close it up, what you want to do is just dry fire it once. Take your safety and turn it off, and then you should be able to pull the trigger here. Before we close the linkage up, we'll pull the trigger just to make sure it works. Okay, you hear the pop, it worked. So we will put the safety back on, and then we proceed to put it back together, and it should work just fine. This slides in here, and then you take the 4mm and tighten this up. Use the right wrench, helps. That one's snugged up. And this one here, again, we got to fish for the head a little bit because it's pretty far down in. There we go, we got it. And it'll take a number of turns. This is a little bit longer screw to thread into here, so that's good. Now the gun's all put back together. What we can do is, you see everything here. What we'll do is slide the safety out. You can see the safety popping out, a little bit of red on it. And now when I pull the trigger, it should fire. There you go, all fixed. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call at Patriots Air Guns. Thank you. Have a fantastic day.